Welcome to Swim Radio, Students Welcoming Intense Media, your music podcast promoting community service events, students and artists who donate their talent, current campus news, and what's happening in music and the arts today. Swim Radio is presented to you by collegeserviceusa.org, a Chicago-based social network dedicated to creating awareness about what youth-driven organizations are doing for their communities via campus clubs and charitable events. Broadcasting from the brand new Reggie's Rec Room, we have one of the most celebrated hip hop groups in the Native American world, according to The Source magazine, and a First Americans in the Arts Outstanding Musical Achievement honorees, Keith IMC, all right, and DJ Shock B from the Culture Shock Camp. Excuse me, fellas. How are you guys doing today?
I'm doing good. Really glad to be here in Chicago, and feel really good about this journey, this trip.
All right. Tell us a little about Culture Shock Camp. Where are you guys from? And
Culture Shock Camp, we come from pretty much the Midwest, or otherwise known as the Southern Plains. That's where our group originated from Oklahoma.
all right.
And it all kind of originated from DJing, parties. My brother was MCing. We were trying to, get out there, get our name out there, and do some things. And it turned into an event, a Culture Shock event, annual event that we did. And then from there, we became known as a group, kind of like the Culture Shock crew, the Culture Shock Camp, and that's how Culture Shock Camp got started. So.
Beautiful. So, how many members do you actually have in Culture Shock Camp?
Myself, my brother, my sister, and early on in our beginning of Culture Shock Camp, we had a fairly large group. We had about 3 other MCs named Duo, Sick Prophet, JB, and Nemesis, and also another artist, One? MC1, he was a part of it. So at first, it was a really big, group of performers. I think a lot of the performers went on, they still represent Culture Shock Camp. They went on to further their musical careers, and some of them been really successful. But now, as far as like traveling Culture Shock Camp, most of the time it's me and myself and my brother, and we bring our sister along too. She's a part of it also.
Wonderful. So, just kind of digging into the community concepts, how do you think your music kind of fits within community? And I know that you talk about kind of like historic background. Can you tell me a little bit about your community and your involvement?
Yeah, our community is Native American community. It's a fairly small community here within Turtle Island or the United States, or this continent. I believe we're somewhere around, our population is somewhere around like a little over 4 million, which is 1% of the population here in the United States. So I would say our music has reached a vast variety of our different tribes here. But not only that, our music is rooted within our culture, our spirituality, but at the same time, it's also a part of this modern day society of what happens here in this modern day world. It's music about social justice, conscious things, activism, cultural activism, but also it's about having a good time, having a party, like the old school roots of influential hip hop from the '80s, have a party, make good music, soulful music, and so we want the music to be rooted within who we are, our identity, and from that culture, that root, we have that subculture, which is how we use hip hop as a tool and an instrument to reach people, not just natives, but all people. Just like my brother, he used to DJ back in the '80s, '83. That's why I got into hip hop. So he was playing all the old school, and all that hip hop back then was reaching everybody. No matter where they were, black, white, brown, yellow, red. It was reaching everybody. So ultimately, we want and we have that spirit within our music to reach all people. But we can't deny who we are. We don't want to be anything else. We can't be anybody else. We can only be who we are. And that's where our music comes from. I'm sure my brother can add on to that too.
Yeah, I mean, what we wanted to do is basically let people know that as Native Americans that we were making quality music, music with the message and with the same production as anyone else. So that's kind of like what pushed us to make our music have good production, have like real lyrics like my brother writes and like some of the stuff that I'm working on now, and to bring our culture, through our music and to identify ourselves of who we were, and they say the Native Americans are invisible people, this North America, our history has never really been fully told, it hasn't been um, taught in schools, education, unless you go to college and you study Native American studies. So for us, somebody had to be a voice, and we want to be a voice for our people, so that we could share messages to not just the Native people but non-Natives too. So that maybe they can learn something that they never learned before, have a little bit better understanding of Native people in this time frame that we're in. Not just the past, horses, teepees, dancing, singing, which all of those things are part of our culture. We love those things. That's a part of our life. But set in that time frame, people think of the past. They don't think of right now. So that through our music and what we did, how we represent ourselves, whether it's a show, a flyer, the CD, sticker, whatever, you know that there's a message in there, and we're representing something, of who we are as Native Americans right now, in 2011. And so that's what's been, the cool part about it is that people, it seem like a lot of people really respect it and think, hey, you guys are doing something. You guys are doing something different. It's maybe not so much different, but it's just kind of how we're giving the message. And for me, I saw it in like a vision. Like that's what I was supposed to do. Like I wasn't supposed to do any other kind of music. And even when I was DJing, like I was just a DJ. I was a native DJ because there weren't that many back in 80s, late 80s. And so that's kind of what pushed me. That's what kind of got us to Source magazine.
Okay.